Welcome inside Studio H in Los Angeles. I'm Rachel Nichols with two NBA champions here joining me, Richard Jefferson, Paul Pierce. So glad to have Richard with us because it was a little touch and go there for a minute. Pelicans and Knicks are just the first game in our doubleheader. In the second game, we have two MVP candidates facing off, LeBron and Luka doing battle for the fourth and final time this season. Now, earlier this week, I sat down with Luka Doncic and I asked him about how playing LeBron is different now back then when he was just a wide-eyed rookie. LeBron is a guy who was on TV commercials and winning championships when you were just 12, 13 years old. And I know the first time you played him, there's the great story that you asked him during the game for a signed jersey, and you obviously had this moment of playing against someone you looked up to. But things have changed. That was a season ago, and obviously now you're very comfortable going head-to-head with him. How did that transition happen?
Yeah, I mean, I remember first game I was nervous, playing against, your idol. I was nervous, so it was something different that I never experienced. And, as we go along, today, it's different than the first game for sure playing against him, but it's always special.
How electric do you expect the building to be here in Dallas on Friday night?
I mean, I think it's going to be full for sure. It's the Lakers coming in. Everybody is going to be in it, and, we hope to win it.
LeBron and Luka have both scored exactly 77 points in games against each other this season. Now, LeBron does have a slight edge in rebounds, assists. The Lakers have the edge. They have won 2 of these 3 matchups. All right, Richard, what impresses you the most about the fact that this kid, he's 20 years old. He cannot legally buy alcohol in this country, and he is legit going toe-to-toe with LeBron James.
He is, and I think where Luka is special, and I think a lot of people knew in advance, is that he's been playing against grown men since he was 16. When you start playing against grown men, and he won a EuroLeague championship. So it's like he's played against grown men in the biggest moments of his career, playing the EuroLeague, playing in the championship game, and being the best player on the court. So now he gets to go against his idols. Right now he gets to go against LeBron James, and he gets to go against players like that. So he's not as awestruck as I think other rookies might be in that same spot.
This LeBron James we talk about. This is EuroLeague no more. This is LeBron James.
But he's played it. He's succeeded on the greatest level, and we know he's special. We know he's different. And so for him to look at this as more of a challenge, it's like, hey, I want to see how I compare, and he's been comparing pretty well.
He won MVP of the EuroLeague when he was a teenager playing with
this
men.
This is LeBron James and the NBA.
And what about LeBron,
that's saying a little bit more.
Agreed. I 100% agree.
What about LeBron, though, on his side of things, though, Paul? Because he is playing against a guy who was basically built in a lab to mimic him. Luka says that he modeled all of his game on LeBron James.
I mean, when you're LeBron, you look at, little predecessors. You're like, he got a little bit of me in him, but LeBron's not worried about him just yet. But he does not want to be showed up by Luka. Please believe that. And so he's going to come out, and especially when you're on the big stage, national TV in the regular season, he's going to be like, look, let me put this kid in this place. He may got some game, but I'm still king around these parts around here. So, he has his way to go, but he hasn't got there yet. He's just scratching. Luka's just scratching the surface of where he can be, and that's the scary part.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, that first game, to your point about not wanting him to be shown up, LeBron hit that big shot to help put the dagger in.
LeBron understands these moments.
But then Luka put in a dagger over LeBron in the next game. The next game, LeBron and Lakers were able to handle them. But this time, LeBron will be without the services of Anthony Davis. AD is officially now out tonight. This is what the Lakers are calling a gluteus maximus contusion. What do we call that, Paul?
That is a high butt bone bruise.
Butt bone bruise.
There you go.
Did he get wheelchaired out of there?
Oh.
He should have.
Come on.
He would have probably came back in the game.
Probably would have came back.
Throwing fire right there.
He probably would have came back.
Yeah, I came into the fire, so it's okay.
There you go. Now, AD did travel with the team, so his status for Saturday's game against OKC still up in the air. But it's interesting that he skipped this game because he's been dealing with minor injuries, guys, all season, and almost every time his reaction is be like, I want to play through it. I want to play through it. But Richard, have we turned the corner to the part of the season where the Lakers got to be a little bit more careful with him and just kind of preserve him as they go into this run up to the postseason?
I think so, and I think if you look at what the Lakers' goals are, their goals are to win a championship. That would mean he's playing more than he's ever played. Anthony Davis said is going to play more basketball than he's ever played before. So, like, you have to start protecting him in those dog days of the season. The hardest games in the entire season are game 40 through 60. Those are the hardest games because the last 20, everyone's excited. First 20, everyone's excited. And then all of a sudden, you just get through this rut right here. So I think they have to be cautious, and I think it's smart to sit him out.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they're playing for a championship, like you said. And the end game, that's what it's all about, getting to the playoffs healthy. At this point, they're like, yeah, they're the #1 seed, but that's not more important than being healthy once the playoffs start.
And Greg Popovich once said that, look, I'd rather be the 7th seed and healthy than the #1 seed and banged up, right?
Yes. That's true. And look, AD also would like a little Defensive Player of the Year hardware, but missing a game or two here or there is not going to cut into that either. Quick note for the Lakers fans out there. Owner Jeannie Buss has promoted Rob Pelinka. She's adding the title, quote, Vice President of Basketball Operations to his GM title. So congrats to Rob.
Does that mean more
money?
Who's the president? More money?
Well,
who's the
does that mean more money?
Or just another title?
Jeannie,
more titles?
I didn't ask Jeannie if she's giving him more money. Do you want to call her up and ask her that? I can do that maybe by halftime. We'll get that in.
I just want to know who's the president.
Who the president
of basketball operations is.
Well, it's the vice president and then the head of basketball operations. Have you never been in a corporation? You don't know how this works?
No, this is my first time.
We're going to be working with Richard a lot in the next couple hours. Just keep coming back to us. I do want to get to our game coming up. The Pelicans are only 4 games out of 8th in the West. Now, there are 6 teams between them and the 8th spot. So, Paul, as we near the halfway point of the regular season, Zion's still not quite back.
That's nasty.
New Orleans continue to push for the playoffs.
That looks like the
New
old
Orleans
Eastern
should
Conference.
not push for the playoffs. And by saying that, that means they're going to try to bring back Zion. No, they should let these other guys develop. And now if these guys, without Zion, can make it to the playoffs, they can have it. They can have it.
You don't want to see Zion come back.
I want him to be healthy as possible.
He's going to pull
next year. We saw this with Blake Griffin. We saw this. How many other players?
Ben Simmons. We've seen it before.
Yeah, but he has a different injury. He is ready to play. He needs to get some NBA reps.
Well, he should be out there. It's a reason he's not out there then.
Oh, boy. You got a winner tonight? Pelicans Knicks?
Oh, my goodness. I like the Pelicans in this one. They've been playing better.
The winners are the fans for getting to watch this quality
Ball's
basketball.
been playing better. Ingram looks like the most improved player.
Next, Mike Breen, Dorisburg, Cassidy Hubbard have the call. We will see you.
There you go, most improved.
Times are ready this season. 3D, take a look at those numbers. The exact same average in scoring, similar rebounds, LeBron shooting a higher percentage and more assists, but for a 20-year-old to put up those numbers with one of the greatest players of all time, how impressive is that?
Very impressed. I no longer look at him as a normal 20-year-old because he played professional basketball earlier than most of us, obviously, over in the States. But that being said, what he's getting used to now, Sam, is guys being more physical with him now. That's why that shooting percentage is down, because he's taking the same amount of shots, but sometimes, Sam, he gets that foul call, sometimes he doesn't. But what I love most about it, he doesn't stop attacking, Sam. He's like, oh, you're going to be a little more physical. Okay, I got to get used to it, but I'm going to still come at you every night, every possession. That's why I appreciate everything he's doing for himself and for the Dallas Mavericks, because I say it again, when you and I were doing our preview shows, we didn't have them in the top, let alone top 8, we didn't have them in the top 10 for the Western Conference. Once again, his impact is really, really, really for Dallas right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just look at the Dallas Mavericks and Rick Carlisle and then Luka. He's put this team on his back. They didn't know coming into the season what they was going to get from Porzingis.
Right.
They didn't know, and right now he's out right now dealing with some knee soreness. Had to have, a little shot done, that PRP shot done to his knee. But when you look at what he's doing at 20 years old, and think about this, look who we're mentioning him with. When you start talking about LeBron James, you start talking about Oscar Robertson, you start talking about Steve Nash, you start talking about some of the greatest players to ever lace up some sneakers in the NBA. And he's doing it in his 2nd year, got us talking about him. The thing about it is, what are we going to be saying 3 years from now? 4 years, 5 years from now? Because he's going to get better.
It's only getting better. And to Sam's point, is like when you, I think Shaq was talking about in story time, and we talk about Larry, when Larry Bird name came, Larry wasn't athletic. I think it's time for us to stop trying to pigeonhole these players when they're so good, so young. Man. Just go and appreciate it, watch it up close. And we had a game here on NBA TV in Center Court a couple weeks ago, and watching it up close, that's when I started picking up the phone. Yeah, man, y'all can stop hating, man. That boy can play, man. But he can't jump. So, you see, he just dunked on somebody, right? But, man, he look like he's going in slow motion. I don't care what your TV set look like, the boy can flat out play. And that's why I said when you watch it up close, he's finding people. He's getting to the paint. Defensively, yes, Rick Carlisle's one of the best guys of, I'm going to hide you a little bit here and there, but he still gets in there and gets his own rebounds. How do you get a triple-double if you're not getting there being competitive, right? So he's fighting, he's putting in the effort, and I think to Sam's point, each year, he's going to get better and better, and then we're going to start saying he's one of the greats. And then when Jerry West came out and said what he said, I said, well, shoot, the logo is talking like this. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet and listen to the logo.
Look, it's not just the numbers. Trae Young is putting up gaudy numbers. They're winning. And then you can't necessarily say that the Dallas Mavericks roster, yeah, when you got Porzingis, but Porzingis has still not gotten back to where he was before he was injured.
Right.
And then Tim Hardaway Jr. struggled so much to start the season.
Yeah.
They kept asking, who was that third guy? Man, 3D
Yeah,
kept
we
saying,
talked about it.
2-3 years ago, Tim Hardaway Jr. was ascended.
Right.
He is a 18 to 20.